Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Today we're looking at Doc Stearn, Mr. Monster. This is issue number 2. I picked this one because I like the cover better than issue number 1. But we're talking about the comic itself, pretty much. It was created by Michael T. Gilbert, and he based the character on an older Mr. Monster by Fred Kelly, but he appeared in only twice in a Canadian comic book called Triumph Comics I think he debuted Triumph Comics 31. But Michael T. Gilbert bought the copyright and took over the character, redesigned it. So, it's his own character based on somebody else. But what I like about it, it's like humor, superhero, horror. So to me, this was like proto Hellboy or whatever. But Doc Stearn, he's a monster hunter. So he goes off and fights the creatures that go bump in the night. His first appearance was in Vanguard Illustrated #1 by Pacific Comics. Pacific Comics was a short-lived comic company that, to me, it was short-lived, but man, its influence was phenomenal. But let's take a look. Look at this gorgeous Dave Stevens cover. What is that? 1985. Look at that beautiful cover. Oh man, yeah, Dave Stevens, what a talent! All right. So yes, it's okay. I just got confused for a second. Okay, look. So here we have the setup. Michael T. Gilbert. I became a big fan of Michael T. Gilbert when he did Roy Thomas, Michael T. Gilbert, and P. Craig Russell. They all teamed up and they did the Elric of Melnibone. I showcased one of the earlier showcases. My channel was that particular comic. They did an epic illustrated hardcover edition. I got that, and then Pacific Comics went and did the adaptations to the book. Oh, it was so good, so good. I should show another issue of that. So we got the typical horror. All these freaky monsters yelling and screaming, the lightning, and the steps up to Dr. Stearn's. It's just hitting all of the monster tropes. And here we go. I'm not even particularly talking about this comic. I'm talking about the series itself. It had a long storied publication history. It started with Pacific Comics, then it went to Eclipse Comics, and then Marlowe and Company and Eclipse, and all over the place. And Dark Horse. I think Dark Horse has been the home of it the last couple. Yeah, I think Dark Horse hosted Mr. Monster. So Mr. Monster, he's a wealthy guy. He lives in this big gothic house. He has a beautiful female assistant. Her name is Friday. My gal Friday. And every issue, this is like one of the running gags. Every issue, there's like a new origin. What does it say? Placed in a jigger of glass slivered. Placed in a jigger of deadly silver glass at birth, young Strongfoot Stearn survived an unusually rigorous childhood and thereupon dedicated his life to ferreting out unspeakable horrors and destroying them. Every issue, this is different. It's got, so I love the skulls in his bathrobe. So he's just like this super wealthy guy, like kind of like a Lara Croft, except instead of raiding the tombs, he's fighting monsters. He's got the two-fisted guns, and he's like super intelligent. He's like a Doc Savage kind of character. I just love this. So here's a monster. This is going against the monster's actually demanding help, asking for help. And here's this beautiful gal Friday. Look at this artwork. Oh my God, is this artwork so good? And yeah, it's horror, it's comedy, it's superheroes. It hits everything. And again, I'm not even talking about this particular story because I don't even remember the last time I read it. But probably like 89 or something like that. Here's a sequential art by Will. And here is this is a little weird thing. Once upon a time, there lived a little Hemo boy. So this was a secondary character. I'll talk about this for a bit. But he's got a bag of blood, like a jar, and he's filled with blood, and they call him Hemo Boy. And of course, he's like this mutant, and everybody teases him and stuff like that. And Doc Stearn shows up, and they're like, you got to kill him, he's a monster. And Doc Stearn, like, he's a monster? And Doc Stearn's like, well, he's just like a human, and he sees the Kool-Aid Man, and that's his hero, and Hemo Boy runs away and joins the circus. It's such a bizarre story, and he's getting abused by the woman who takes care of him. He's just rolling on the floor. And even Mr. Monster, he's like hardcore. He doesn't show mercy to anything. Even he can't just kill Hemo Boy. It's just, I can't believe I'm saying it out loud. Yeah, it's just so bizarre. And I'll talk more about Hemo Boy. Oh, I love this. This was amazing. This was my first experience to the Rocketeer. I should showcase that one of these days. So Doc Stearns going to the circus to check out Hemo Boy. It's just so stupid, and donating money and he's kind of like little Sebastian in Parks and Rec. Everybody ends up like all the people end up like loving Hemo Boy, and he's like he's unsure, is he a monster, is he just a human who's deformed or whatever, and he decides that the monster is the woman who's abusing Hemo Boy. So there you go. Starts fighting her, she's choking him out, and he kicks her right in the mouth. Look at that foot, right in the mouth. And just look at this glorious artwork. And he just starts beating her up, and it turns out she's like a being made of like congealed blood, and everybody's screaming and yelling, yes, yes, and that's why she wanted Hemo Boy, because she wanted more blood. Hemo Boy has come, and it's just so freaky. And now he's like that's right, she's like a gigantic red blood cell. So now she envelops him, and she's like acidic. She's going to dissolve him. So what does he do? He opens up a capsule, and it sucks all the heat out, freezes him, and then he shoots it and breaks out. Now he can breathe again. Look at this glorious artwork. So bizarre, so bizarre. And he decides that Hemo Boy gets to live. And I forget this. This is Mother of Mercy, the Irish guy, and I think that's Friday's father. And he's like a police commissioner or something like that. Such a trope. And here we go, bucket of blood. Just so in the penumbra. This was like their in-house news epilogue. Hemo Boy's hanging out in a blood bank, and okay, it's not in his some fan art. Look at that Elric, Hellboy, Mr. Monster, and this is the ad. He saw this ad. That's my little Hemo Boy, because this guy had no energy. The ad had that this guy had no energy, and he took these like hemo pills to help him produce more red blood cells. Now he's the life of the party. 6 months ago, he thought he was too old for fun. That's my Hemo Boy. And Michael T. Gilbert just thought it was funny and made up the character Hemo Boy and added it to his comic. Back issues. You want to get some back issues, and the DNA agents. That was a lot of fun. Mark Cavanier. All right, that's Hellboy. Hellboy. Something wrong with my brain. My brain is ruined. Okay, so this is Mr. Monster. Doc Stearn, Mr. Monster. This was a comic, for whatever reason, it was really hard to get, even at the time. I was collecting it, and I would find out that I'd missed an issue. It was hard to, I don't know if it was like a local comic book store thing, or if it was just Eclipse Comics, or if it was, I don't know. But it took me like a couple of years to track down and get all of the comics, all of the back issues, and I loved it. And it came out sporadically. You'd find out like months would go by, and then the next thing you know, 2 issues would come out quick, and then months would go by, and then the next issue would come out. So it was sporadic. That was one of the things that killed it. I think it was Michael T. Gilbert's very slow. He's very precise. He's a phenomenal artist, as you can see. Very bizarre. I loved when he inks Pete Craig Russell. That is just can't be beat. And the stories, every issue is self-contained in the first 10 issues. So in the main Mr. Monster comic. And one issue goes after vampires. One issue he goes after like werewolves and stuff like that. And then one of my favorite stories is all the monsters decide to be good. They're like, we can't fight Mr. Monster. We have to be clever and defeat him. So all the monsters go into hiding. And like a few of the rogue monsters like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm still going to kill. So the monsters actually like take out all of the monsters that won't cooperate. And why? Because after a couple of years, Mr. Monster realizes that he has no purpose anymore. All the monsters are defeated. So he marries Friday. He gains weight. He gets fat. He becomes, just a suburban dad. And when Mr. Monster's like in his 50s and chubby and out of shape, the monsters attack. I just thought that was such a great. So they did like a 20-year, good behavior so that Mr. Monster would be taken off guard. I loved it. Just such a good story. But anyway, it's a bizarre comic to find. It's a hard comic to find. It's very rewarding. What was the cover price? $1.75. And this was 1986 when it came out. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to start rambling now. But glorious cover, tongue-in-cheek, humorous, didn't take itself too seriously, and glorious art. There you go. That's Mr. Monster. Anything else I say is just going to be repetitive. Okay. I wanted to ask you guys. I have two channels. I have one channel where I, John's Long Box, where I host my videos and do all my talks. And then I have another channel where I watch the videos after I post them just to make sure that everything came out okay. Make sure the sound's fine. Make sure that, the video came out, whatever, that you can understand my words. And I've been seeing commercials. Have you guys been seeing commercials? Because I didn't monetize anything, and, you shouldn't be seeing commercials. So let me know. Are you guys seeing commercials? I don't know. Why YouTube could make money off of me, but not me? I don't know. It kind of rubs me the wrong way. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thanks a lot for watching my videos. Have a good Memorial Day weekend. Bye-bye.